Hello and welcome back to Sprite Guard Plays HyperRogue. I have made a few adjustments. I think the echo is still probably going to be a little bit worse than I would like it to be. That is something that I still need to figure out a permanent solution for. The other change, I'm trying to now remember what it was, and we may have to continue on without it. Oh, I turned off Capture Cursor because I noticed that it was coming out pretty garbled. I'm still not entirely sure what the best thing to do with that is, but for now I'm going to go back to the way things have been. So, we are looking for a jungle. That's going to be the next thing that we want to visit, and I have been playing around in the mobile version and having some pretty good luck. I have been into the overgrown woods and seen what they're about, and so I hopefully will have a little bit of ability to kind of show you around with some more confidence. I'm a little bit sorry that I was not able to kind of share with you my first reaction to the mutant ivies, because they're actually pretty intense, and I had a pretty funny reaction to them. They grow very quickly, and I sort of forgot the rules of the game for a little while as I was trying to figure out how to deal with them, and so I just ended up running away, and I think I ended up with something like 6,000 ivy kills after I figured out what I was supposed to do, because I just let this thing grow and grow, and it grows so absurdly quickly. So we have 15 charges on this Orb of Shielding, and so I want to actually use it to get one of these double ivies. Just because we can, and just want to make sure that we don't take it for granted, because those do run out pretty quickly. So I'm still figuring out what the best way, because if I project too much, my voice carries into the kitchen, and my kitchen is all granite surfaces, and that is what is causing the echo, I think. But if I find that if I get too low, I actually, I sound sleepier, as I think Dominic put it. And so I'm not really sure the best way to do this. I've been thinking a lot recently about I talked, I think, in the last episode about the Bob Ross Marathon and the way that he talks, and wondering if I can bring my presentation to the point where I can have that kind of a manner and come across as engaged while still being very calm and reserved. Right now I feel like I kind of have to hype myself up in order to come across with the kind of energy that's going to make me not feel bored as I'm watching the videos. And that's kind of the first metric that I have when I go into these. So one thing that actually somebody pointed out to me, and I'm sorry I don't remember who it was, I should have checked, pointing out you can actually left click. I think they said right click, which I had tried, and then Zeno pointed out that it was actually right click, and so, or left click, I mean. And so you can left click on a land to see what it needs, and you need 60 treasures and 10 rubies, which is unusual. Let's see, escape? Yes, escape works. Okay, because as I mentioned in the previous episode, it's kind of more common for lands to require 5 of a treasure when the treasure involves visiting some land that introduces a concept. But 10 it is, and 10 we shall get, and I think that it kind of makes sense. I'm still a little bit of two minds about the overgrown forest. I think that it is, in some ways, has some things that actually make it very manageable, and I've been having a lot of good luck there, but it also has some things that make it very dangerous. And so I'm not really sure where I stand on, how difficult I find it. Oh, that was very nice. That cleared out a lot of areas. So now we are just looking for either a crossroads or an overgrown woods. Either one will work for us. And I think I saw an exit that it just didn't seem like it was going to be worth trying to get through. And we can once again pick up one of these orbs to give us a little bit more options. So now we are on the hunt for an overgrown forest. Or an overgrown woods, I think maybe it might be called. I'm going to have to double check the name because I now suddenly have lost all confidence that I'm actually remembering the correct name. Another thing that I was doing in my kind of mobile experiments was I was picking up 25 of different kinds of treasures, and I was finding that getting 25 ice diamonds was actually extremely useful, and so that is something that we're going to look at. And I'm not really sure what other treasures might be worthwhile. I did pick up actually 25 statues of Cthulhu. I managed to do that. And that had an amazing, powerful, positive effect on my game. It really gave me some more options when I was in some tight places. Possibly the Hypersian rugs could be very useful if we try and go on a princess quest. Because the orbs of discord now spawn in the palace. I'm going to scan around and see if I can see an overgrown woods anywhere around here, and I'm not seeing it, and so I think I'm going to drop into this orb of safety and check the time, and I believe we're still pretty early in. Yes, we've only been going for about 6.5 minutes. So we are going to continue on our quest to find the only new land that we have not visited, with one exception, and that one exception is actually not in the kind of the core of the game. And so we are going to have to finish up this run in order to check that out. So that will be coming up in the future. I will try to remember. I know that I've been kind of bad about showing off some of the stuff that's outside the main game. Partly that's things like I am so bad at and like so cannot wrap my head around the shoot 'em up mode that it just, I can't play it, I can't show it off. I'm kind of curious. Okay, so lightning starts fires in the overgrown woods. Okay, it's woods. I've got to remember that. So that's going to spread, and I'm curious to see how long... Oh, they do not burn for very long. So this could end up actually being a little bit of a problem, because these walls of trees... Oh, that's interesting that only some of them burned. Okay, so here's the mutant ivy. They grow on every single turn. And the only reason that they're manageable is that only the tips grow. And you have to just battle the tips, and it's sometimes tricky, like here you have to get the tips into a position where you can battle them, and you just have to work your way down to the center, and then kind of beat a strategic retreat whenever another wave comes out. But then you can cut it off. Oh my goodness. Why did that turn into a vine? Is it... I've never seen that happen before. I don't know what happened there. Let's see. So this one to our left is going to... Or I guess the left of the screen, our character's right, is going to grow very soon, and then we have the one directly below us is going to be coming up. So I want to get into this choke point. And, oh, so it looks like the vine is actually something that kind of spreads as like an infection almost. And so I'm going to actually kind of cut my way to elsewhere and just see if I can get away, find a different place to go, because the vines, I don't think we can cut through them. I don't think we have much option for how to deal with them. And so I am inclined to just head someplace where they're not going to be as much of an issue. And I don't totally understand. Actually, I want to check the help text. The overgrown woods are filled with mutant ivies. These plants grow very fast. Each leaf, after being grown, can grow itself on the next turn. However, each part is only able to grow once in 16 turns. Outside of the overgrown woods, the mutant ivy may grow only on hexagonal cells. Maybe such fast-growing plants could help you solve the problem of hunger in your world. Kill the mutant ivies to collect mutant saplings. Okay, so that does not really tell us about why we were having that vine appear, so that's something we will have to continue to wonder about and experiment with. Now, I think it's kind of interesting to me, the rationale for why we're collecting these mutant saplings, because I've always kind of been... Boy, it's so hard to talk about knowing things when you know that you don't know things, because I've always been kind of had the understanding that food shortages don't really have anything to do with... Oh, okay, we need to beat a strategic retreat here. Get that, and that will let us get in there. That there is enough food in the world to feed everybody, and the issue is distribution. So we got new achievement, mutant sapling. And I've, the problem, the more you learn, it's one of those problems that the more you learn about it, the more difficult it becomes. So we're going to wait for this to grow, and then we're going to cut it back. And then we're going to cut into the middle, and that will release this troll, who we will then fight. And now we are going to be looking for the next ivy to fight. So far I'm actually finding this area fairly easy to deal with. I don't know how much more difficult it will get as we collect more treasure. I know that the minefield has a very sharp difficulty spike around 11 or more, I think closer to 15 even, treasures. So I know that the difficulty curves aren't always simple. And we're actually going to have to retreat pretty far for this one. But we can start cutting in, and there we go, that's another one. So one thing that I've actually found very effective in this area is just trying to find my way, letting it grow as much as it can grow, and just trying to find my way to its root. And it will fill out the area that it's in. Okay, so it looks like the root is there. So now what we can do is we can wait for the wave to pass, and we can actually start cutting towards the middle. And we now have actually quite a lot of time in which to get our way to the center. And because of the way these work, we can actually kill a whole lot of branches all at once just by cutting off the place where they meet. And so that actually makes this area a lot easier to deal with than it would be otherwise. And also, I feel like the amount of time that you have before they grow is usually plenty. So let's see, we're going to have 2 to deal with, so we need to retreat back to some place where we can choke them off. Because that's the thing, is they move with a great deal of breadth to their motion, is kind of how I would describe it, is they really kind of cover all of the spaces around them, and we are in trouble now. We're going to have to beat a retreat back over here. And so, I mean, this is kind of the risk, is we've got 2 of them kind of together, and we don't really have the opportunity to deal with either of them. And so I'm actually going to retreat. I'm going to head over this way, and I'm actually going to hit that, and that should keep it stunned for long enough to get out of its aggro range. And we can just cut through things. Trees work just like they do in the dry forest. some of the trees take 1 hit, some of them take 2 hits. And as we saw earlier, they do burn in the same way, and so that is kind of a point of familiarity that we will have. So now we are in a Crossroads Type 3, and I want to check. We actually have only 4 mutant saplings, so we will need to head back into the overgrown woods. So let us do that and see if we can pick up, let's see, Orb of Life doesn't actually seem all that useful. I don't trust our golem to really be smart enough to survive. So one thing I wanted to kind of look at and think about is in the Crossroads Type 2 we have, or Type 3, excuse me, we have these long sequences of 90-degree intersections. And so what I was thinking about was, what shape do those actually take on? And what I'm kind of realizing is that this is, we're standing right adjacent to it, and it is, here we're standing as close to the line as we can get, and it is curving just a little bit concave towards us. And so if you think about a curved line that is kind of being approximated by this series of right turns, that line has just a very gentle curve, but if we take 1 step back, it's now curving away from us. And if we take another step back, it's curving away quite steeply. And so it looks like the line that it is kind of serving as an equidistant curve to is about here. It looks very close to straight here. And so that's just kind of something that I started thinking about once I saw this layout, the area, the shape of this area. So I wanted to just take a look at that. And, oh my goodness, there's a land of power butting right up against. And I think that's just a coincidence. It's not actually part of the shape of this world. So that is going to kind of get in our way. We're not equipped to go into the land of power yet. Now, I think we can fight our way into the center of this. I actually want to wait for the next wave, and then we will start hacking our way into the center. And we're actually taking a bit of a risk here, so I want to cut down that, because I wasn't sure when it would start pushing back, and we were a little ways away from a place where we could retreat to that would be safe. And I had created that kind of loop where we couldn't get back to the other side of it, and so I wanted to be really careful about how we approach that. So, what do we have? I'm looking at just the treasures we have. So we actually have to head back to the crossroads in order to save, and I'm actually realizing that we're getting to the point. We've been going for, about 20 minutes now, and so I do actually want to find an orb of safety, drop into it, and then we can pick up in the next part of this episode. So, I said in the last portion of this episode, I'm back in a big way. I'm very excited about that. And what I've actually discovered is that moving is much more difficult than I ever realized. Now, this is an interesting navigation puzzle. I'm trying to get to this orb of safety over here, and it actually doesn't look like it's possible. Let's see. It looks like there's 2 worlds that are completely separate here. Yeah, this line just doesn't... Okay, so there's a gap in it. So maybe we can still work our way around. But now actually I'm finding... Oh, goodness. Oh, dear. Oh my goodness, that's game over. That's too bad. I just got too caught up in the navigation and trying to figure out where I was going, and that was the end. So in the next episode, we are going to take a look at some of the new game modes. Some of them are not very new, but we're going to take a look at them because I have been neglecting them. And so that is coming up, and then we will... we still have the achievement that we were going for, the minefield achievement, and there's still quite a lot. We have not done a princess quest in quite a long time. So there's still quite a lot for us to do, and I am looking forward to doing it. But, so what I was saying before I kind of got distracted is I said last week that, you know, I'm back in a big way, and I'm really excited to be doing lots more videos, and what I discovered is that moving is very difficult. And so it has been just problem after problem after problem, and there's probably still going to be kind of a reduced output, but I am, you know, really loving that I'm back to making these videos at all, and so I am hopefully going to be doing some more. We have some really interesting games coming up. I'm really looking forward to it, so thank you very much for watching. I hope that I can make those videos soon, because I'm so excited to make them, and I'm so tired of moving. But until all of those things in the future, the indeterminate future, for now, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.